What's going on, guys? Middle89 here. Welcome back to the channel. In this video I wanted to share my experience of actually seeing myself in the dream when I became conscious. And I know this is very important because obviously the dreamscape is otherwise the astrals and these other densities that we can gain access into in our subconscious realms. And so we can gain a lot of truth and wisdom from this when you do start becoming conscious. I remember a lot of adepts and people I was following along my journey were saying, if you can't get conscious in the dream, try and grab a mirror. Try and see what you actually look like, your astral body. And I was thinking, oh, okay, yeah, I'll keep note of that. But what was interesting, my experience, I didn't actually consciously force the issue. Otherwise, it just happened to me, where I was all of a sudden made aware in my dream. I was stood in front of a mirror in one of my old houses I used to grow up in as a kid, and it was outside the bathroom. And I remember looking, I was just absolutely stunned. So I remember seeing myself, and it was like it was a true depiction of how I look. Otherwise now. But everything was more symmetrical and more beautiful, because obviously beauty is symmetry and harmony. And I remember seeing these great big black eyes that you're otherwise seeing like these grey aliens, yeah, but it wasn't as big as that. But they were huge and they were black, and I was seeing through these. And I remember leaning closer to have a little look, and they were just peppered with stars and galaxies and nebulas. And I was thinking, whoa, that's fucking awesome. And I remember smiling as well. I remember smiling. And I was seeing it. It was as if I was doing this right now. This is how fucking real it was. It was so lucid and vivid. It was an amazing experience. I remember smiling. I had like a little gap in my teeth. And I remember having this as a little kid, a little gap in my teeth. And it was just there, and everything was perfectly symmetrical. And I remember grabbing the back of my head and thinking, oh God, I feel a head full of hair there. And that's when I noticed, oh my God, I've got all this hair. That's kind of brushed behind my ears. And just sitting above the neckline, or the shoulder line on the back of the neck. And I was thinking, because I normally don't have hair like that, it shocked me. I remember thinking, fucking hell, that's like not me in this realm. And so I remember just stood there for a few minutes, just absorbing, what it looked like. And I was thinking, oh my God, this is awesome. And I remember that shut down, and I just remember waking up with that memory, that vivid 2-minute segment of my dream, being conscious, put in front of a mirror. So whatever entity or consciousness or my higher self was kind of almost like, right now is the time to make you see your true nature. And I thought this was absolutely stunning and beautiful experience, which otherwise, if you look into stories and how angels are otherwise depicted, which I believe every single one of us, who's the true source player in these reality systems, has a higher self. And when we refer to a higher self, it is of an angelic nature. And these angels are otherwise depicted as beautiful beings, these celestial beings of a higher order, because they're more aligned with source, and that source energy, which is of harmony, which has perfect symmetry, which is otherwise what I saw, first-hand knowledge. I could, testify this fact. And this was my astral form. But what was interesting, I had other dreams since then this year, where I was able to see myself in the mirror, but I was almost playing out someone else's memory. And so I remember looking at myself, and I wasn't me. And it was almost like I was plugged into someone else's body, playing out a memory. Because a lot of these dreams I have when I'm conscious all of a sudden that I can remember, almost feels like I have no control over it. So it's almost as if like I'm looking into someone else's memory. So it's really strange and bizarre. There's only been one or two other occasions where I've seen myself in the mirror and I actually look completely different to otherwise that time where I was perfectly conscious and I was able to control everything for like 2 or 3 minutes in that dream state, seeing myself as an angel, big black eyes with all the stars peppered in there, perfect symmetry. Because obviously down here in this realm, they've done stuff to, break us away from that harmony and that kind of, beauty of the true source, love, creation, emissions that are permeating. Because obviously they come in, they tilt the axis of the earth. They've done everything they've set up is otherwise done to try and twist and distort this reality. And you can see here, if you look, I see it all the time. There's not really great symmetry here with me, and I know a lot of people experience this, and if they look and analyze themselves closely, we're not perfectly symmetrical. And this all goes back to what they've done with our DNA and splicing the genes and shit like this and everything else that's going on energetically with the whole planet as well, like the fucking tilt of the earth and like all the angles that they're otherwise trying to keep us off on a really bad kind of satanic tilt. And this is otherwise, going into what they've done with splicing the DNA, going back to what I just said. I feel like, and a lot of people testify this, that I'm kind of like a hybrid. That they've come in, like this experimentation that's been going on down here, they're kind of merging different species together. And I feel like in a lot of star seeds I've heard testify this as well, that they mix with two different kind of star beings and star systems with these bodies, with the DNA manipulation that's been going on. And I don't know why they're doing it, whether it has got a reason or purpose, you know, because there's a lot of theories that this place is a bit of an experiment by the higher gods in order to facilitate this kind of playground of this Noah's Ark, where there's all kinds of different species here. You know, it's almost like a fail-safe, you know, first the Earth experiment, people call it. But I just found that really interesting. I was just wondering whether you guys have experienced the same, you know, and that's what we're obviously striving back towards, I believe. And this is why you see in this realm also the most beautiful people that we kind of adore and find very attractive tend to have a lot of symmetry, and you can see this. And I'm definitely seeing this a lot more. Younger people coming in, younger generations, they seem to be more aligned with the new energies and maybe the rebalancing that is happening in this system, because they do look of a higher angelic nature. With some of these women I'm seeing, they've just got perfect symmetry and their eyes are really big, otherwise depicted what I saw myself in the dream. And I believe these aliens, these higher beings, angelic and astral bodies, we would have a much larger capacity to see the light that is otherwise hidden to us in this calibrated state. And so obviously those bodies were able to perceive more of the light that's otherwise hidden to us. And so it makes sense if we had perfectly, you know, big black eyes with like all the stars peppered in them. We'll be able to see pretty much, you know, a lot more of the spectrum that's otherwise hidden from us, the information that these bodies are only calibrated to register and process. But again, this is all changing. And so, you know, once you start purifying your diet, getting off the fluoride water, distill your water, get off the alcohol, the smoking, the shitty foods, the glyphosates, the GMOs, start eating clean, more raw, organic, get in the sun. All these things help activate and help your system realign itself and heal itself, and you become more true, more aligned with your higher self. And I guarantee you, even some people I've seen, when they've cleaned up the diet and stuff, their appearance changes also, because it almost starts, you know, basically projecting what you're otherwise anchoring in from your higher self, which is more aligned with harmony and symmetry and beauty, because you're allowing that to come in, which is why what they've set up in this system, everything blocks that kind of alignment, because the natural denominating presence or, you know, state of the whole universe is that of love, symmetry, harmony, balance and beauty. And so in order to make systems like this, you must come in and deliberately and artificially induce it in intoxication and basically, you know, inject it with all this imbalance and make sure you control the imbalance, which is why this whole system has to be regulated from top to bottom 24/7 around the clock. And that's another illusion, obviously, with the time in terms of manifesting things down in this realm. It takes a lot of time. You know, it's you always got to pay it forward, and it could take months, it could take years in order to, you know, manifest what you desire. Whereas in the higher realms, it's almost like instantaneous. There's not much effort going behind it, but you must be in control of your mind, because if you're able to think things, well, if you can't control your mind, you'll be thinking really bad shit, and that could cause a lot of chaos in those realms. You know, so down here, it's probably is like a purpose to all this, maybe, I don't know, in terms of those beings who can't control themselves up in the higher realms, maybe taking, you know, things for granted a little bit and abuse their powers in order to try and gain too much power, maybe, in manifesting what they're thinking. So they've got to be locked down into these more dense grids or dense states in order to almost a state of purgatory, and to think over what they've done, the process, and gain back control of those desires that are maybe affecting your manifestation abilities, which is not in alignment with harmony, truth, love, and respecting other entities, you know, in those reality systems. Who knows? But, you know, one thing's for certain, we're definitely raising our vibrations and a lot of truths coming in. So I just found it interesting. Once you do start purifying, you can start becoming conscious in your dream states. You will be chosen, you will be guided and shown these things if you ask for them too. And so I found it amazing. You know, that was really one significant experience I had as part of my journey, which is only just recently, you know, beginning of 2020. So yeah, thought I'd share that. All right, thanks for listening. Cheers.